round 1 of Queendom has finished. I'm sorry if I sound weird. I have been sick for 4 days. Also, because I'm sick, I'm not gonna talk too much about what happened during the episodes. I'm just gonna talk about the performances. And I think that's what we all are here for anyway. Okay. Jesus Christ. So, round 1 of Queendom High Shy Guy. So for round 1, each group was to perform a signature song. Whatever that meant, some did that choice better than others. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about each performance from my least favorite, counting up to my favorite of the 6. So let's get into it, starting with the worst performance in my eyes. Brave Girls, once again, with my least favorite performance. I mean, I didn't have any expectations of Brave Girls going into the show. I know they're just the weakest of all the groups when it comes to this kind of stuff. They're pulling what I call a Lovelies. And what that means is if you watch Queendom 1, Lovelies kept pushing this idea of,
we need to show all these different sides of us. We want to show them that we can do this and this.
And then the performances just fall flat because they're not playing to their strengths. They're trying too hard to do other stuff when they should be doing the stuff that gained them the popularity in the first place, the reason why they have their fans. Brave Girls making the same mistake. When you're trying to show this new side that is just so different from what you're normally doing, is you're not probably gaining new fans from it because it's probably not executed so flawlessly that it's that impressive. And you're also kind of disappointing your already fans because they are your fans for a certain image and sound. So when you're not delivering that, it's just kind of disappointing. And that was what ultimately kind of happened with Lovelies, I believe, in the first season. So for the actual performance, so they did Chittabada-bada-bada-room. I never know how to say it. They did that, which, weird choice. I get why they did it. They're like,
we don't want to be the Rollin' group.
And sure, but everyone wants you to do Rollin'. You just get it out of the way so you don't have to do it for the rest of the show, which they did. They ended up also doing Rollin', which was a fun surprise. But I'll talk about that when we get there. So, keeping in mind these 2 songs that are going to be in this performance, why are they dressed in this blue vinyl, crackly, girl crushy kind of outfit? These are summer songs. Have a summer stage. Make it fun. Why did they go all Blue Man Group? Literally. Why are they having these props? No more props on this show, please. I don't get it. They didn't do anything to the actual arrangements of the songs to fit this image. It's just oh, it's all edgy and cool and epic. And then we're gonna have a fun little summer jam. And then it's back to epic and cool. Oh, here's Roland. It's just a weird performance. I wasn't here for it. Possibly too much live vocals. I wouldn't say there was necessarily bad vocals. They sounded pretty much how they sound on their tracks, which I personally am not a huge fan of their voices in general. They have a very distinct sound, and if you don't like it, you're probably not going to really like a lot of their songs. I felt like they could have used a little more help from the backing track. You just start focusing too much on the vocal aspect instead of the performance. But that transition into Rollin', I just hated it. I'm going to talk about this with another group too. When you do a transition into another song, there needs to be a transition. It can't just be we were listening to the one song and then all of a sudden the second song starts playing. It's very jarring, and it's so much more impactful when you can hear the transition starting. When you start to hear the other song in the first song playing. I mean, this is what DJs do, right? You're listening to the one song and you start hearing the next song coming and you start getting excited, oh my God, this song's coming. When it just happens, you're oh, okay, cool. We're in this song now. I just wish there was more of a transition into that. But, once Roland happened, everyone was having fun. And that part's enjoyable. I thought that was the best part of the performance is when they finally got to Roland. Because that's what everyone wants. I don't know. This performance was weird. Not the direction I would have went with it. Number 5. Luna! So Luna didn't get to actually compete in the round because of COVID. But they did get to do their performance afterwards. I'm thankful we got the performance. I don't think they needed to do that. They could have just rested more. So first off, weird song choice. When I'm thinking signature Luna song, I don't know anyone who's going, Paint the Town. Because no! In fact, I think it's their worst title track. I don't like this song very much. And yeah, okay, let's talk about it. So, the general theme that they went for with this performance, I don't get it. I don't get why they did this kind of Asian theme to it. So first of all, and I'm sorry I have to bring it up, but all you're gonna think about now is Oh My Girl anytime someone tries to do this concept. And because Oh My Girl went so popular with it, it just feels almost like okay. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost kind of an eye roll. I don't want to gatekeep this. I'm not saying Oh My Girl's the only one who can do this concept, but it's like Oscar bait, It's just not creative anymore. It's been done that, like, you want to see something different. And then on top of it, Paint the Town has a lot of very, like, Indian Bollywood elements in the song. Not that I'm saying they should have gone that route with the theme of the performance, but it's kind of weird when you're getting, the Indian Bollywood elements of the song, and then also they're dressed and their style and the themes all like kind of Asian. I know there's better ways to explain the concept. I'm not all there. And it's not like they changed the arrangement of the song enough, I think, to justify this concept. Like, it's just Paint the Town with an intro and like a dance break. Every now and then there's like a little flute. Like, it's not that big of a change that I don't think it was well executed. And then for the actual performance part of it, I'm just gonna think, what are you doing? I'm just gonna say, I think they're still tired from COVID. I don't think this was the best that they could give. I'm sure they weren't given enough time to really practice this. The energy was off, I felt. But it's also one of those things where it's like, I can't tell if it's because they're trying to be serious and edgy or if they are actually tired. Because sometimes that happens when you're trying to look, kind of tough. You might look a little bored. That's kind of how I felt with the overall Luna performance. Was energy was off. The arrangement didn't really make sense. And the song choice was just not good. And I'm just like, I wish they did Butterfly. I hope to God they're saving that for the fan round. Because if Butterfly doesn't get performed on this show, that is like the biggest missed opportunity. It is like the song to perform on this show. I can't believe they did freaking Paint the Town. Literally any other song from them would have been better. Number 4. Kepler. So Kepler did Wadada, which they had to. They didn't really have another choice. Unless they wanted to do OOO, which that would have been fascinating. So Kepler's big story of this episode was how they're Mnet's babies and they don't want to appear as nepotism or whatever. But we all know. I mean, and also, who's the one pushing this narrative on the show? Mnet. I mean, there's no way Kepler will end up winning this show because they're the Mnet baby. And I don't think Mnet would actually want to expose themselves too much. But for the actual performance of Kepler, the things I liked about it, I really liked this arrangement of Wa Da Da. I thought it was fun when the chorus hit and the that was cool. I thought that was just like a really fun arrangement. If I heard that in a concert, I'd be like, what? And that was all I really liked. Oh, I liked Yeso's kick. Granted, more of them kicked, but like she was the one that got the camera and she girl kicked high. I loved that. Things I didn't like, the flags. Props. My God. They're gonna be these flags, what was the point? They did it for one little thing. It looked so bad. It was just pointless. They just did it for like their racer like theme. I don't know. And then choreo wise, I'm glad they didn't just do the choreo, because you don't want it to feel like an Mnet stage, like just a normal music show special stage, which is kind of how Luna's felt in a way. I'm glad they changed the choreo. There are parts of the choreo I'm sad they changed, like the little yeah, with shouting Shiro and Diane. Yeah. I'm glad they got rid of this. I'm glad this didn't make an appearance. I liked the way more. I don't know. I thought it was just underwhelming. Thought there'd be more to it, especially with it being the Mnet group. I don't know. I wanted more. The one thing that they did have that no one else had was this like freaky camera work and like effects, which I didn't like that. It was really just like, And you know what? Your performance shouldn't need that to be good, because it's not like the audience gets that. I feel like the audience was having a lot of fun with this. It was just also like bonus points. I want these performances to like be enjoyable and like I put myself in the audience. Would I enjoy this performance if I was in the audience? I think I would enjoy this. I mean, granted, with almost all these stages, there's too much walking around to different parts because it is for TV. That's just lame, right? I don't want to see people running to their like spot for the camera. I think that's just annoying. But like towards the end, they did like a thing where like they're all clapping, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun. Oh, overall, still just underwhelmed by this performance. Number 3. Okay, before I announce who it is, number 2 and number 3 are just like so interchangeable to me that like I've been going back and forth. Number 3, WJSN. So WJSN are my favorite group in the competition, and I don't think this was a bad performance. There was a certain prop mishap, and hopefully they learned their lesson to never use props again. These props all suck for WJSN. So going into this episode, there's a bunch of crying. We knew something was going to happen because there's tears. And it was an hourglass. It was all for an hourglass, which extremely dangerous. That was crazy. And just like everyone else who was watching this, I thought it was on purpose. I thought the hourglass was supposed to disappear, and it was symbolism of like just like time not mattering or something deep. But no, it was a prop mishap, and you figure that out later when Exy does it to like an empty thing. That's when I was kind of going, wait a minute. And sure enough, when you rewatch the stages, you see the broken hourglass, you see them slipping. Sola is just very nervous about it the whole time, which, that's not a fun thing to deal with. But regarding this hourglass thing, tinfoil hats on, what if they had planned for the hourglass to break and then execute the performance flawlessly? So then word will get out how they're professionals and they dealt with this crisis flawlessly. No, it was actually just a really dangerous situation that they would not purposefully put themselves in. Outside of the stupid hourglass, As You Wish, one of my favorite songs from them, so happy to hear that. I don't think they needed all the extra-ness of it. They got like the epicness intertwined with like this like fun song. It's like my least favorite part of like Queendom is this like epicness in a lot of their stages, where it's like, you don't have to have it. Like, you can make the stage exciting in different ways, right? Their stage also had a lot of like member over here, and then a lot of walking to different spots, which is just like annoying. Like, just perform. I don't like it. I don't like all of this like meant specifically for the TV performance aspect of it. I do really love in this performance at the end when they're all just standing and singing, and Ludo, you're holding hands. And I forget who said it, But I had the exact same thought, and I thought at first that it just felt like the end of a concert. And like that feeling is just like, example of how you can be so simple, simple, how you can be so simple yet so impactful, right? They're not doing anything crazy. They're literally just standing and singing. And like that alone just had like a feeling of like, just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Anyway, to number 2. My second favorite performance, which is really kind of just tied with WJSN. Vivi's. Very solid performance. I felt like they didn't try to do any of these like weird epic moments. I mean, they had like kind of some story. I don't know. There's words in the back. I don't care about any of that stuff. Some crown thing. Once again, props. Don't need them. But I just thought this was a really pretty stage. I didn't quite get the emotional aspect of it that a lot of people in like the crowd, I guess, got. I know some other people got emotional watching it. I didn't feel that. But I just thought it was a pretty performance. I just felt like this worked. I thought this was one of the better uses of backup dancers. Like, it didn't feel overwhelming. I thought they just did great. Song choices were great. Time for the Moon Knight and Rough. But once again, the transition between the two could have been so much better. But I've already spoken about that. I was pretty upset when they changed some of the choreography. But then I was so hyped when they kept in the bum, 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 ba-dee-da-da-da. It's time for the moon night. If they had gotten rid of that, I would have like screamed. Really, my biggest complaint of this performance is there's no Yuju. Hearing Rough without Yuju does not hit the same. I'm so sorry to the Vivi's members. And I every time I've talked about Vivi's, I've had this same complaint of like, I miss Yuju in this group. Her voice just elevates these songs to a whole other level that is just missing. But I will try not to keep being like, I miss the old G friend. Oh, the orchestra was also pretty extra. I mean, cool. I think that's pretty much all the thoughts I had on that. I know they got like ripped apart in the show from like all the other groups saying that Vivi's did worse than like them, which was interesting. Part of me thinks that was just a strategy thing and they don't want to give Vivi's points because Vivi's is a threat. So that's why they're all like saying that they did worse, was to kind of put them down in points. What do I know? And finally, my favorite performance, not even a competition, goes to Hyonin. Woo! Yeah, this was like just easily the best stage to me. So she did Touch My Body, which of course she had to do. Thank God she did it. I just think this was the most fun stage. It was the most unique. It was just so well executed, I think, in pretty much every way. So first off, just talking about the appearance of the stage with like the waterfall, the atmosphere it created was so cool. It was so good. That was like the best use of the stage to me. And then as the performance went on, it then came into like a nighttime like campfire feel, which I just thought that was such a cool like thing to do. I felt that. I just think she just had fun. If I was in the crowd, this would have easily been my favorite performance because it was just engaging. You know, there was like a fun little dance break that matched with the song. Like, it just all made sense. And I was enjoying myself. Like, I didn't feel like I was critiquing it at all or wishing she did this instead. It was just a fun time. The only complaint I really have maybe are the live vocal parts. But it's not like she did a bad job. Like, she hit the notes. I don't even know what more I can really say. It's that I just thought this was a really fun performance. I thought she crushed it, especially with the broken heel. I don't know, and she ended up winning the first round in like all three, the groups, the live audience, and the global audience, which I have heard that fandoms have kind of joined forces to have voted for Hyorin as their second pick, because if you don't know, when you vote for two groups. You vote for what's your favorite group, and then you get a second one to vote for. And I've heard everyone's kind of like teamed up to have her as their second pick. Whatever. I think it was well deserved. And that concludes round 1. Brave Girls did rank last, but because Luna didn't get to perform, Luna is actually last place. So Luna is on the chopping block. They are up for elimination if they get 6th place next round, which they're not gonna. Brave Girl should be kissing Luna's feet because because if there was a group to get cut, it would probably be Brave Girls. I have a hard time seeing them get out of the bottom 3 in this competition. I'm so sorry, girls, but you are up against some really tough competition. So our next round is going to be the cover stages, which is the round I think a lot of us are looking forward to. It's the round that we got the Oh My Girl Destiny stage. Ooh, will anyone top it? Probably not. I don't know. For this round, we have Hyorin versus Luna, WJSN versus Vivi's, and Kepler versus Brave Girls. I have already seen the spoilers. I know what songs are being performed. I won't spoil them here, but the two I'm most looking forward to is Luna's cover, because it is one of my favorite songs of all time. I don't know how they're going to do at it. It doesn't really seem like their style, but that's the fun of it. I'm curious to see what happens. And then my second, actually it's probably my most looking forward to one, is the WJSN stage that they're going to do, because I think their song choice is easily the best song choice of all these. It has the most potential. I think it was funny how all the groups wanted to cover Luna, and all I'm thinking is because they want freaking Butterfly. Except Hyorin, who is not doing Butterfly. That wraps up this video. I will see you again in 2 weeks after these next 2 episodes of performances. What are your thoughts? Give me your rankings. I've seen so many different rankings. It's actually kind of insane how nobody's on the same page of what were the best performances and what weren't, because we're all looking for something a little bit different on this show. And I'm very curious what your thoughts are for each one. I'm going to go. Have a lovely time of day wherever, whenever you are. Mwah, mwah. Bye.